Metal Medicine Podcast with Cat Wright.
Hi, James. It's good to actually see you.
And you as well. This is my lockdown look. You know, this is me when I'm kind of like just going nowhere, making no effort. You know, just hanging around the house.
That's it. Like about 2 hours ago, I was just watching Netflix in my pants.
Yeah, why not?
Because that's what you got to do, I suppose.
If I stand up, you'll see that I'm actually wearing pajama bottoms and slippers down the bottom end.
It's like going to a business meeting. Do you know what I mean? There, it's your suit, and then it's just like pajamas and slippers.
Yeah.
Oh, how are you doing throughout all this craziness?
I'm okay, man. I'm very antisocial, so this is good for me, you know? So I have no excuses to go anywhere, no commitments. I just get to stay in my little cave, and it works for me. How about you?
Do you know what? Like, the thing is, I've got 2 kids under the age of 10 anyway, so it's... Especially in March when we all had to properly lock down and they were home, and both of my kids are on the autistic spectrum.
Right.
So it has been, really full on, because for a parent, life doesn't really change that much in a way. It's been 24/7 since the kids were born, right. And it's still 24/7, and that's it really. I think the only thing that I can say is personally it has changed to the better. On a personal level, I know COVID-19 has hit many people one way or another, but I choose to pick the good things about it. And personally, it was a time to reflect, to see exactly what I wanted to do, or what kind of person I wanted to be. And I wanted to be the kind of person where I would support the arts. That is something I absolutely love. You know, I love music. I love speaking about mental health, which is one of the things that I do as well, and mixing a little bit of both. And therefore, the metal medicine was born. And so
this started since lockdown then?
Yes. It's been a lockdown project. It's something that I've been meaning to do for a very long time, but never had to. I never had the balls to do it. Do you know what I mean? It was just more of like, I don't think anyone will want to listen to what I have to say. I don't think people will want to read about the things that I write about, until I decided to go for it. And people showed me otherwise, that yes, we are a little bit interested in what you have to say, because if you've got a voice and you want to do it for good, then use your voice to spread positivity. And that's what I'm trying to do, I guess.
Yeah, good for you. So before lockdown then, what were you doing for work before that?
The thing is, I am registered disabled. I've had my issues with mental illness, and I have a condition called fibromyalgia, which is widespread pain.
Yeah.
And mine can be quite on a severe scale, so therefore there would be times where I couldn't get out of bed, basically, I couldn't get out of bed, couldn't do anything. And then there's the depression and anxiety and all that stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, sure.
And it's just like, I thought, well, I can't let that define me. And for the past 5 years, I've been getting involved in little projects here and there, to the point I decided I want to go and do my own thing.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Dude, congrats, man. That to do that it takes a lot of courage and bravery to do that anyway. To make that kind of life change, that I'm going to do this, and, with the risk of failure or criticism or it not working or whatever, that takes a lot of courage anyway to do something. But with your particular circumstances, with everything that is kind of up against you already, that's, props to you, man. That's amazing. And, I'm sure.
No, James, I really appreciate that, but I'm supposed to be interviewing you, man. What's going on here?
I always do this. I always do this.
What's going on here? You're going to end up like having me in tears, or?
I always do this. It's because I don't like talking, so I ask all the questions.
No, do you know what? I'm only messing, because this is what it's all about. I don't like calling them interviews, because that is just too formal. I like meeting people who have a similar interest, to me, which is music, and talking about things that are bothering us, talking about mental health, illness, talking about social stuff, politics, any of that stuff. So I don't like calling it an interview. I like calling it hanging out, because this is just us hanging out, meeting, for the first time face-to-face-ish, and getting to know each other. We're just like two people who have similar interests, but the difference is that you have a lot more followers than me on social media, and that's not fair.
Not for long, man. Not for long.
Not for long. Well, congratulations on your book.
Thanks, man.
I've got here, Noise Down, and I've not finished it because, as I just said, my life is very busy as it is. But I've been reading bits to it, and honestly, every page or so, I'm just bursting out laughing. Honestly, bursting out laughing. And because it is quite funny how, in a way, you turn into, a sticky situation into quite like, oh, that was quite funny. I shouldn't be laughing about it, but it was quite funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And are you still in Wales?
Yeah, right now. Yeah. I'm surrounded by fields and cows out there, and very much so in Wales. Yeah, I've never moved out of Wales. I've moved around a lot within Wales, but never out of Wales.
That's it. Like, I was just thinking, because your accent isn't. Yeah, you've got a little bit of a Welsh twang, but you don't really have a Welsh accent.
I know. Yeah.
Is that on purpose?
My parents are both quite anglicised. I suppose I've got a kind of a towny accent. Like, I move around a lot, so like my accent is kind of like Newport, like the Newport accent or the Cardiff accent, rather than the Valley's Welsh accent.
Yeah, rather than the Valleys.
Yeah, so I've got a little bit. I use a lot of the Valley slang and terminology, but I've got kind of a chavvy, kind of a towny one.
Can you speak Welsh?
No.
No, at all?
No.
Not even a word?
Oh, like, fish and chips. I can say fish and chips.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot what it is. Pascal Esclarion, Esclarion Conver.
I'm not going to even, try to attempt that. I'm terrible at stuff like that.
Really bad.
Because I was born in Portugal. I'm Portuguese. And I came to the UK when I was 17.
Right.
When I was 17, I'm 34 now. And so it's been a long time. But the thing is, it's like there's still that a bit of a twang, still a little bit of a twang, like Eastern European twang. And then because I live in Leeds in Yorkshire, and my husband is, he's a Yorkshire man through and through. So words like, you're right, love, will come out. And because of him, he is an influence in my accent. So he often says that I have a Yorkshire accent, and around.
That's good. I'm so glad you said, because when you started talking, I was thinking, what is that accent?
Yeah.
And I thought, is it rude if I ask, where's your accent?
It's not.
I was trying to place it. I thought I can hear Northern in there, but I can hear something else as well. And I didn't know what it was, so I'm glad you said.
Yeah, that's it.
You got it.
That's the thing, because I think growing up here, I say growing up here because, yes, I came here when I was 17, but I was still very much like a young person in my head, like a younger person in my head. I think I did the proper growing up when I actually moved here. So because I was the kind of person that I've always been very anxious, so I had to adapt. So I would copy the accent, and I tried to sound as like my peers at the time. So I tried to sound like them so they wouldn't ask me where I was from. Because when I came here back in 2002, 2003, when I came here, you really didn't see a lot of people, especially in the centre of Leeds, where I am right now. You wouldn't really see many people like me.
Yeah.
That looked Eastern European, but also sounded like one. So I had to adapt my accent. So it kind of stuck around,
Good. It's really good.
Kind of just sticking with it. But I can have like a very strong accent when I'm drunk, and it's quite interesting. It sounds very, aggressive. I've actually spoken to like a few foreigners like me, where when they are drunk, they start speaking in their, mother tongue. With me, no, I go full on Yorkshire, and it's bizarre.
Yeah. That's cool. I like it. Yeah, it's a very interesting blend of accents you got there.
Yeah, but then it's unique to me because no one sounds like me.
Totally, yeah. Nobody is like
nobody. That's what makes this more unique. It's using my voice. No one sounds like me.
Totally. Yeah, and nobody is like you, dude.
That's it. No one. Yeah, that's it. No one has my DNA unless they're trying to clone me, and I wouldn't advise that.
No, that's not a good idea.
No. I don't think so. Moving on. I was reading little bits of Noise Damage, and as I said, it was proper funny. I'm only like a few chapters in, and I thought it was quite funny. When that little story you told about your dad giving you a Spanish guitar when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And then you were saying, it was probably, you didn't use the word stolen, but you said something along the lines of,
it was
maybe illegally obtained.
It was, yeah. Yeah, my dad's a kind of, he's quite a rock and roll character. Both my parents are pretty rock and roll. I had a good upbringing. But yeah, I mean, like, I didn't even want a guitar. I wanted something, whatever was the cool thing at the time. And my dad, like, found this guitar somewhere, kind of nicked it, and that became my birthday present, and yeah, crazy how things go, because I just fell in love with it, and just played it all day, every day for like forevermore, so yeah, crazy how things go. I mean, if that hadn't happened, it goes to show like how a small event can have really massive effects for your life, I mean, I wouldn't have been here talking to you now if he hadn't got me that guitar.
That's it. It's how funny how things happen. Like for me, right? I'm not as talented as you are, but my first thing of experiencing music was when I tell this story to everyone. Actually, it was when one time I was watching a concert on TV. This is when I was like 4 years old, and we only had like 2 TV channels, and we were kind of a poor family, we had a little black and white TV which was attached to a car battery. That's how poor we were, back in the day. But I remember this moment when I was watching this Queen concert. It was like a rerun from the 86 Live Aid, the iconic concert. Yeah. And it was like I saw the crowd roaring. The crowd roaring and having such a good time. And also Freddie Mercury, just like, look at me. I thought that he was the greatest thing ever. He was the greatest artist in the world. And also, but what caught my eye was the crowd, and they were there, and they had this main focus of watching the show. And yes, it was for great cause, but also watching this person perform, this person that didn't necessarily fit in within society. It was the different, and and sounded different as well. And it was just like that moment for me. That's when I, in a way, fell in love with music, because I couldn't get that sound out of my head. Right. For a 4 or 5 year old kid, it was like the wow moment for me.
Yeah.